You've probably had that moment with an AI where it feels, well, almost human, right? But what's actually going on in there? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the attention mechanism. It's the engine behind models like GPT, and yeah, it's a total game changer. But it's also surrounded by a ton of hype. So let's get real about what attention can do, and maybe more importantly, what it absolutely cannot do.
You know that feeling? You're deep into a chat, and it feels like it's hanging on your every word, remembering everything you've ever told it. It's so easy to start thinking these AIs have a perfect photographic memory of our chats, our preferences. But is that what's really happening?
And then there's this one. You ask it a super complex question and bam, you get this eloquent, detailed answer. It really feels like the AI is plugged into some kind of universal fact-checked library of all human knowledge. But is it?
And here we go. This is the big one, the idea straight out of science fiction, that the AI has a world model. You know, that it actually understands how things connect, how the world works, just like you and me. Is that where we are? Or are we just seeing what we want to see?
Well, here's the kicker. Nope, not a single one of those things is true. And in a world where these tools are getting more powerful by the day, understanding why isn't just a fun fact, it's absolutely essential to using them the right way.
So, let's peel back those layers and see what's actually happening. First up on the chopping block, this whole myth about memory.
See, unlike us, these models have what you could call perfect amnesia. Every single time you start a new conversation, it is a completely, totally blank slate. It's like meeting someone for the first time every single time.
Have you ever tried it? Go ahead and ask a chatbot what you guys talked about yesterday. You'll get nothing. It's kind of like asking a goldfish what it did last Tuesday. For the AI, your previous conversation might as well have happened in another dimension.
And the reason for this is actually pretty straightforward. It's a technical limitation called the context window. Just imagine it as the AI's tiny temporary thought bubble. It can only see and process the text that's right there in that one single interaction. The second that window closes, poof, it's all gone, vanished.
So, let's be crystal clear about this. There is no long-term memory. The model is not building a profile on you. It's not learning your personality over time. It's just reacting to the words you're giving it in that specific moment.
Okay, next myth to bust. The idea that AI is constantly connected to the internet, always learning, always updating. The truth is, it's more like a library that was sealed shut a few years ago with no new books ever allowed in.
So, let's say you ask it about something that just happened, a new policy at your bank that changed last week. It'll probably spit out an answer that sounds really official and confident, but that answer could be completely wrong, based on information that's totally out of date. And that's because its knowledge is completely static. It's frozen in time. It learned everything it knows from a massive data set that has a cutoff date. It can't Google something, it can't check the news. For all it knows, it's still 2022.
And this right here, this is a game-changing idea to get your head around. The AI is not a fact-checker, it's a word predictor. Its one and only job is to make a statistically good guess about what word should come next in a sentence. It's not designed to tell you the truth.
So you might be wondering, if it's just predicting text, how does it sometimes just make stuff up that sounds so real? Well, that brings us to the famous and often tricky phenomenon of hallucinations.
This is where the magic of attention comes in. To predict the next word, the model is constantly asking itself, okay, out of all the words I've seen so far, which ones are the most important for guessing what comes next? It gives each word a score, or a weight. That's really all attention is, a super sophisticated system for weighing the importance of words to understand context.
So you can think of attention as an incredible pattern matching machine. It has processed more text than any human ever could, and it has gotten scary good at spotting the relationships and patterns in how we use language.
But what happens when it runs into a topic where its training data is a little thin, a gap in its knowledge? Well, it doesn't just stop and say, sorry, I don't know. Instead, it does the only thing it knows how to do. It follows the pattern. It improvises. It generates text that sounds plausible, that fits the structure it expects, even if it's completely fabricated.
And this might be the single most important rule to remember when you're dealing with AI. Just write it down. Confidence is not correctness. An AI can generate text that sounds 100% certain, but all that means is that it found a very strong statistical pattern. It has nothing to do with whether the information is actually true.
Phew, okay. So we have torn down a lot of the big myths. Now, let's put it all back together and get a really clear final picture of what attention actually is
and what it isn't. So let's just lay it all out. What attention is? It's a brilliant way to compare the relationships between words. It's a master at finding patterns in data, and critically, it only works inside the current piece of text you've given it. And what it is not a memory of your past conversations, it has zero knowledge of the real live world, and it is absolutely not reasoning or thinking for itself.
So what's the big takeaway here? Look, the attention mechanism is a monumental breakthrough. There's no doubt about it. But its power is incredibly narrow. It's a master of language patterns, but it is not a master of truth. And in this new world we're in, knowing the difference between the two, well, that's everything.